What is going on, everybody? Shri Kanase here. So as you guys know, CBOs are going to be the new norm very soon. And there's just so many things about CBOs that a lot of people aren't really sure about. Strategies are constantly changing. And this video is going to be one of the newer strategies which I've just recently come upon when it comes to testing products via CBOs, because single interest testing will not be available anymore starting September. And it's not September right now when I'm recording this video. But as I've mentioned many times before in my previous CBO videos, and if you don't know what I'm talking about, go ahead and click on my channel below and watch some of those CBO videos and subscribe while you're at it. But changing officially to a CBO, in my opinion, is actually a good decision, and I'll go really soon as to why I think this. But with this CBO strategy, you're going to be getting results fast for your new products, and that means that you're going to be able to test new products fast. Remember, speed is everything when it comes to making money, and the faster somebody is, the faster they'll get results and the faster they'll be successful. So without wasting any more time, let's jump right into it. So the perfect Facebook ads CBO product testing guide. And let's start off with exactly describing what a CBO is and how it is beneficial. Now, I highly recommend that you don't skip over this part and watch till the end, because every single thing I'm about to say in this video is going to help you become a better marketer and become more successful when it comes to Facebook ads. But what exactly is a CBO? For those of you that don't know, CBO is basically called Campaign Budget Optimization. What this means is that Facebook gets more control over the optimization of our campaigns, because now normally what we used to be able to do is we used to be able to individually allocate a specific budget to each ad set. But now with this new change, you're going to not be able to allocate individually to each ad set, but rather you'll have a group of ad sets within one campaign, and that one campaign entirely will have one specific budget. But the beauty about this is that with all of those ad sets grouped together, Facebook now will decide for you which ad set to allocate more of that overall budget to, and this decision will be made based on its performance. So you're kind of giving Facebook more ability to make decisions for you when it comes to running these ad sets. And although you're kind of losing control over the process, Facebook is still smart enough to decide for you. So in the end, I think Facebook will be able to make better decisions than most of the people out there. And that is simply because Facebook knows its platform the best. The pixel itself has been running for years and years, and it is more than seasoned. So what all of this essentially leads to is less room for guesswork. A lot of people used to make decisions based on their emotions, meaning if a specific ad set was spending more money than they could give, they would really quickly shut off that ad set without really going into the metrics as to whether that was a good decision or not. So now with Facebook handling all of the ad set budget itself for you and only spending on the highest performing ad set, it is a very good decision for those people, because now you can just shut off individual ad sets within the CBO which are performing bad, but you won't really have to worry about your budget getting overspent unnecessarily, because CBO will find the best performing ad set for you. But moving on to strategy number 1, and this strategy involves launching one single CBO campaign per product that you want to test. Now, I like to call this the lazy people strategy, not in a bad way, but rather a more direct way. I personally use this a lot myself, and it works really well. But there's another strategy for testing products which I'll go over very soon. But with this strategy, what you're basically doing is, normally people used to recommend that you launch 5 to 10 ad sets per product, and in this case we're doing the exact same thing, but we're doing it within the CBO. So there's going to be one campaign which is a CBO, and within that one campaign there's going to be 5 to 10 different ad sets with 5 to 10 different audiences, and each ad set will be given a specific budget of $5 or $10 per ad set. Now, what do I mean by this exactly? So let's say, for example, you have 10 ad sets within the CBO and you decide to allocate a budget of $5 per ad set. So that's $50 in total. But in this strategy, instead of individually giving the ad sets $5 budget, you're going to give the CBO a total budget of $50 per day. So that kind of comes down to $5 per ad set within the CBO. So we're kind of carrying over the old strategy of launching ad sets at $5 or $10 per day, but now we're launching them within the CBO and we're giving the CBO the entire budget. And when it comes to the audiences within each specific ad set, you want to make sure that the audience size is kind of very similar to each other, meaning no more than 1 to 2 million, maximum different in audience size. If one of your ad sets has an audience size of 5 million, the other ad set should not vary more, in total 7 million or 3 million, because we want to keep these ad sets as similar as we can to each other so that Facebook has an easier time deciding which audience is working the best for the product. Because think about it yourself, this is kind of common sense. If you have an ad set with the audience size of 10 million for one ad set and another ad set has an audience size of 100 million, of course Facebook is going to have a much harder time trying to find that perfect pocket of audience within that 100 million audience size. And in the end, you may find out that within that 100 million audience size, nobody is even interested in purchasing your product. But Facebook will spend more on that 100 million audience size ad set just because it has a greater audience size in total. And to get a good amount of data, it has to spend more to reach a bigger audience. So we don't want to screw up the data. We want to kind of give Facebook an easier time in determining which audience works the best, what audience size works the best, etc. And in this case, we want to kind of find audiences that are kind of similar in size to each other. But within each ad set, you're going to have 3 different ad copies. And again, if you're not sure as to how to make effective ad copies, go ahead and click the link on the top right above my head, and I'll also have the link to the video in the description. But copywriting is the best way to make effective ad copies, which these people that you show your ad to are more inclined to purchase. But with CBOs, you're going to need to make sure that your ad copy game is on point, because Facebook is making most of the decisions itself, and the only thing that you're kind of left with when it comes to advertising is choosing the audience and crafting that good ad copy. So you want to make sure both of these things are on point and as good as can be. But one thing you want to make sure of if your product is below $100 in cost is to choose the 1-day click or view content optimization window, and if it is greater than $100, you want to click the 7-day click or 1-day view optimization window option, just because in my own experience, I'm noticing that with the 1-day click and view content optimization, that is working the best for products under $100. But this was strategy number 1. Now moving on to number 2, and this strategy is actually a little bit more personalized. In this strategy, what you're doing is you're launching 2 CBOs instead of 1. But before you panic and exit this video, hear me out, because you're not going to be overspending. So you're going to be launching 2 CBOs per product, and in CBO number 1, instead of having 5 to 10 different ad sets, you're only going to have 3 to 5 general ad sets with, again, similar audience size. And for the audience size itself, the same rule applies as before. You don't want to have audience sizes which vary more than 1 to 2 million max. And I'll also explain why I use the word general very soon. But within these 3 to 5 general ad sets, you want to have 3 different ad copies as well. Same rule as before, but for this specific strategy, you're going to be launching this one CBO for the top 5 countries. Now, in the last strategy, what countries you chose was up to you. You could either launch them to the top 5 countries or all ePacket countries, or even the US and Canada. That was entirely up to you. But for this strategy, for CBO number 1 specifically, we're launching to only top 5 countries. And going back to the word general, we want to use general interest for this ad set, meaning nothing too specific, nothing too broad. But now for CBO number 2, what you want to be doing is you want to be using the same exact ad sets with the same exact interest as you used in CBO number 1. The only difference is that you're going to be launching this ad set to all ePacket countries, excluding the top 5. And again, this CBO is going to have 3 to 5 of the same ad sets as CBO number 1. So in total, you should have 6 to 10 different ad sets combined for these 2 CBOs. And as for the budget, we're going to apply the same strategy as before, $5 to $10 per ad set, meaning in total you would still be spending about $30 to $50 per CBO, and you would have 3 ad copies per ad set. So the difference between strategy number 1 and strategy number 2 is that we're kind of testing these countries differently, and we're kind of letting Facebook deal with these countries differently. With the first strategy, if you targeted worldwide and excluded the bad countries, or if you targeted ePacket, you're kind of just jamming all these countries together. But with strategy number 2, it is kind of separated from each other, and that lets Facebook do its job much more efficiently, and it also makes its job a little bit easier. But when it comes to choosing audience size, again, we're going to go over the general concept one more time. General works best, and this means nothing too specific, meaning nothing less than 1 million in audience size, and nothing too broad, meaning no individual ad sets with more than 30 million audience size. Because think about it, if you're only allocating $5 to $10 ad set per CBO, it is going to have a difficult time reaching those pockets of audience of over 30 million all at once within a few days. So only launch specific ad sets over 30 million audience size if you have the capacity of handling a loss for long periods of time. Otherwise, stick to between 1 million to 30 million. That's the sweet spot in my opinion nowadays. And again, make sure the audiences are very similar in audience size, and to find these audiences, you would use the same strategies as before, suggestions tab along with audience insights. And these two would be enough to give you the specific data you need to make those killer CBO campaigns. But this was a quick update as to what strategy is working the best with CBOs when it comes to testing products. Do let me know down in the comment section how this works for you. But remember to apply both of these strategies, because you won't know which one works the best unless you apply both. But if you found any type of value in this video, do me a huge favor and smash that like button down below to please the YouTube gods. And subscribe if you haven't already to stay up to date to the videos I post every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. And I'll see you guys next time.